Hello, all you lovely people out there in the world. How are you doing out there? Hope everyone is okay. I'm Kate Hill, giving you the best, unbiased and honest commentary on our property markets, so stay tuned. Now, it's super easy to get carried away with making property investments, jumping in, buying property or shares. But as a property investor, it is super important to have a plan. I know it's boring, but you need one. Have at least a 5-year property investment plan that ensures your actions match your intentions. And having a close eye on the key details of this plan will help you do just that. There are all sorts of things that you might have planned. Think these through financially. Perhaps you plan to have a baby and expand your family. How would that impact your income? If so, what will you do to allow for that? How would you cope with the extra expense that comes with that? Are you planning to move house, buy a new home, change jobs, emigrate to Australia? Who knows? But you also need to know where you're heading financially. Where do you want to be financially in the time? What do you want your net worth to be at a certain point? Your plan is your personal roadmap to help you make all of your property investment related decisions, from buying, renovating, refinancing, even selling at some stage. It should be a working document so that you can update it to reflect changes in your life, your personal circumstances, and you maybe aim to update it every 6 months or so, maybe every 12 months, just to make sure you're still on the right path. It should be tailor-made to suit you, your financial position, so that you can be sure you're making every dollar work for you. When you're creating your 5-year property investment plan, you need to consider where you want to be in 5 years' time. Once you've sorted out those goals, you can work backwards from there to what you need to do this week, this month, and this year to get there. So for example, you currently own, let's say, 2 investment properties, and in 5 years' time, you want to own 5. This means that you need to buy 3 more properties in 5 years. So your 5-year plan should map out how you're going to achieve that. And if for some reason this is not feasible, then how do you adjust the plan? Or get advice on what you need to do to make it happen. There are many factors out there that will influence your investment plan, and let's loosely group those under 3 different headings: finance, family, lifestyle. So for finance considerations includes things like interest rate changes, loan refinances, rent increases, your income fluctuating, your ability to get the loans approved when you need them. If you're buying property during this time, then the really important consideration here is serviceability. Rents are likely to rise a little bit each year, depending on where you live, which will offset some increase in interest rates. But rates could easily scale up by 2 to 3% higher in the next few years' time. Considerations. Do you and maybe your partner have steady jobs? How much do you have in savings or buffers, or just for any of those unforeseen circumstances or emergencies? If you have property, then how leveraged is your existing property portfolio? If rates go up, will you still be able to afford to maintain your investment properties? Where will the deposit come from for each new property? Have you got an independent, qualified and experienced advisor working with you? Your answers here will determine your financial goals for the next few years. If your goal is to buy 3 more properties, you may decide that you need around $50,000 to $100,000 in savings or usable equity to purchase new property, which will cover your deposit and all those buying costs. This means that you need to save that amount each year, or your existing property portfolio needs to grow in value by that amount, or both. You might be able to afford your property portfolio now, but how will you manage if your mortgages cost you an extra $1,000 a month due to rising interest rates, or you lose one of your incomes? If you're planning to start a family or have more children, then how will you manage these extra costs on top of any rising mortgage costs? Considerations will be things like, are you planning to have a child in the next few years? Would this impact your income stream? And if so, how do you plan to replace that income? How will you cope with the extra expenses that expanding your family will bring? Your answers to these questions will feed into your financial decision making and help you work out a more realistic budget. Lifestyle. These are also some of the considerations around lifestyle to make and think through. How often do you want to travel, and do you have a budget for that? If you increase your portfolio, will that impact your future travel plans? Do you plan to update your car in the next few years? Do you have savings put aside to cover health issues that may come up? Are you upgrading perhaps to a more expensive rental property that you live in? Is your rent going to increase? These three areas cover all of the factors that we sometimes don't consider properly when we are making longer term plans and working out our finances, from health and well-being through to travel and lifestyle choices. You need to make sure that you're living within your means. Again, I know it's boring, but it's really, really important. If you're determined to go on that next expensive family holiday, perhaps you need to revise your end goal and aim to buy 2 more properties in the next 5 years rather than 3. You need to work out your priorities. The most important thing in all of this is to prepare and budget ahead accordingly so that you don't overextend yourself and your finances. If you don't have a plan, then make one. Start with a 5-year plan to help you achieve your 5-year goals, and then work towards your 10 and 20-year plans. Happy planning, everyone. Now, I'm going to keep talking to you about all things property, so don't forget to hit the subscribe and the like button if you are enjoying all that free content, and I will see you again really soon. Bye.